I want to welcome you to this multimedia presentation on Pularumpi School on Ratuwati Yinkajara Land, also known as the Tiwi Islands. I'll start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders today. I give a special mention to the traditional owners of the land which this is recorded on, known as the Aurora Nation, and secondly, the Ninga people where Curtin University is situated, and lastly, to the Mantiyutwi clan of the Ratuwati Yinkajara Land where Pularumpi School is located. I want to warn any First Nations people that may be watching this presentation that it may contain images, voices and names of deceased persons, and I would also like to apologise in advance for any mispronunciation of traditional Aboriginal words. The Tiwi Islands are located off the Northern Territory coastline and are made up of two islands, the Melville Island and the Bathurst Island, with the majority of the populations being of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander descent. I would like to share this video off YouTube of Mantiyutwi people performing a traditional Tiwi dance, which is a very common way to communicate memories, stories and entertainment, and also represents and displays a Tiwi's personality and lifestyle. I will fast forward it to 1 minute so you can all see the dance. The islands have distinct weather patterns throughout the year, affecting the native flora and fauna, and of the most part being extremely warm all year round. Being up north close to the Northern Territory obviously means there is no winter and summer, but instead wet, dry and very hot and humid seasons. As shown in the image on screen, the seasons are as follows. Jamakatari, being December to February, is the wet season, Kumanupanari being March to August and dry season, and thirdly Tiari being September to November and being extremely hot with high humidities. As previously mentioned, the Mantiyutwi clan are the traditional owners of the land with 8 different landowning groups spreading across both islands. These include Jilakararu, Malawawu, Mantiyutwi, Munapi, Wulirankuwu, Rurankuwu and Yimpanari. The language spoken on the islands from the elders and older community is called Old Tiwi or Traditional Tiwi, in which the middle-aged population can understand but cannot speak it fluently. The younger generation speak New Tiwi, which incorporates English and Tiwi words known as Aboriginal English or Creole. The following video is called Spook and sung in traditional Tiwi language, which starts off slow and ends with a bang, where the artists are singing quite fast and made to spook the audience in a fun and playful manner.
Angata, Papatidi, Angata, Papatidi, Kali Muraka, Wankete, Wanganyenta, Angata, Mapatidi. Angato mapotiti. Gali gali muraga wankete wonganinta.
The chosen school of Pularumpi is located on Melville Island and is 100% Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. It has been made obvious from research that the school's philosophy is strongly built upon involving community, family, and culture, which, when mixed with place-based pedagogies such as the 8 Ways approach to learning, can enable the learners to achieve desired outcomes, making meaning of education, and gives them the skills to live a fulfilling life. The Tiwi culture is at the forefront of all schooling activities, and the teachers at the school use this to engage and motivate students with several community activities, excursions onto country, physical hands-on lessons, which aim at building a strong rapport with not only the students but also their family, which in turn decreases absenteeism and enables successful learning and teaching of literacy and numeracy. In the next slide, I want to show you an amazing video of the students from Pularumpi School that made a song during a music lesson. This demonstrates the fun ways literacy and music are combined by the staff at Pularumpi School, where the kids are learning, performing, having fun, and feeling included.
With big fat beats, it makes me wanna step my feet. Music makes me feel so good, it's so loud in the neighborhood. We listen to the jazz, rock and rap, and sweet reggae and pop. We listen to it in the record and on the radio. Everybody now, we love our music. We love our music.
Isn't that just so catchy? I think I could probably sing that one off by heart now. The importance of being a culturally responsive teacher is paramount in understanding a student's needs, such as their cultural background and language. The ability to recognize these characteristics of individual learners will enable teachers to build connections, communicate, and shape a strong foundation for learning where all students can participate and no one feels excluded or misunderstood. Pularumpi School does an exceptional job of recognizing and incorporating their students' cultural and linguistic backgrounds into every day by taking part in having the elders come into the school to share stories, memories, or demonstrations, lessons on country, community breakfasts, eating meals together, community fundraisers, and the dental and health mob coming in for regular checkups, as the Indigenous children are more susceptible to ear infections resulting in hearing loss. The incorporation of the 2 Ways learning approach is integrated into Pularumpi School programming, allowing the teachers and the learner to communicate effectively with both parties, listening and providing feedback, which establishes a connection between them and enables them to learn from one another. This is also achieved at Pularumpi School when they undertake group work and the students can learn from each other respectively. This is also evident in Pularumpi School's approach to the 8 Ways learning pedagogy, as a lot of their lessons are hands-on, involving community, culture and history, through examples such as the photo seen on the next slide, where all the students are participating in a community walking event, demonstrating the importance of school attendance. It's lovely to see how happy and excited they all look. The chosen year group is the foundation year, starting off with a a great book called Joshua and the Two Crabs, written and illustrated by First Nations man Joshua Button, and it is a great resource for literacy, teaching and learning. The book is about Joshua's fond memories of his past growing up in Broome, spending his weekends crabbing and fishing with friends and family. His vivid descriptions of his feelings and country all promote the value of family and culture whilst being surrounded by the abundance of Australian flora and fauna. This book could be built into lessons in foundation level English and HASS and also linked to the cross-curriculum priority Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander histories and culture. The learning outcomes achieved through the use of this resource in accordance to the Australian curriculum are recognising that texts are created by authors who tell stories and share their experiences that may be similar or different to students' own experience, sharing feelings and thoughts about events and characters in text and retell familiar literacy text through the performance, use of illustrations and images. In saying that, this book could be used in the classroom by relating the story to the learner's own experiences on the weekends and what they do with their families or friends on country. Group work could be executed by asking a series of questions about the front cover and making predictions before starting. After the book is read, students can work together by picking out verbs and adjectives to make it a fun lesson. Share experiences with each other of fishing or crabbing on the island, and also asking elders to come and share their stories about similar activities. To evaluate these lessons and deeming them suitable for the students to achieve learning outcomes, teachers can undertake group discussions, spelling games, explosion charts, projects, reflections or recounts, and continuous observations during these tasks. Not only can this book be used for English and literacy, but also in a history science lesson, as it meets the curriculum criteria of recognising the places people live in and belong to, their familiar features and why they are important to people, the Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander country or place on which a school is located, and why country and place is important, the reasons why places are so special to people and how they can be looked after. To achieve this, students and teachers can locate Broome on the map or finding local areas for fishing and crabbing, determining what role fishing plays in the learner's own community, making a self-interpreted ecosystem, make a trap for crabs or fishing rods, excursions out to country to see similar areas locally and discover why these areas are so important. Evaluation of the HASS outcomes. Teachers can assume the evaluation is occurring at every stage, but recurrent questions and observations during the task. Designate small group assignments or discussions. Commence pop quizzes. If technology is available, online game quizzes such as Kahoot, and asking the students questions to make sure they have enjoyed and understood the tasks. Numeracy is also an important area of learning, and this video is a great resource for the teacher to watch before going into the classroom, as Dr. Chris Matthews is a renowned Indigenous educator and spokesman for enabling teachers and pre-service teachers to change the way we see and interpret mathematics. This video is a great tool for maths and gives teachers the knowledge to step away from standard numeracy pedagogy, especially when interacting with Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander students. He explains how maths is all around us, and instead of focusing on just numbers, we can focus on colours, shapes, patterns, which model and embed numeracy into land links, culture, experiences and families.
My name is Dr. Chris Matthews.
The learning areas targeted are numeracy and the arts for foundation year, and again linked to the cross-curriculum priority Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander histories and cultural sustainability. The learning outcomes targeted are establishing understanding of language and processes of counting by naming numbers and in sequences, initially to and from 20, moving from any starting point. Connect number and names, numerals and quantities, including 0 initially up to 10 and then beyond. Subtitle small collections of objects. Represent practical situations to model addition and sharing. Sort and classify familiar objects and explain the basis for these classifications, and copy and create patterns. These outcomes can be achieved by taking your class onto country and bringing numeracy in by seeing how a plant grows or how many seeds a flower head has, discovering patterns of objects, how windy it is, how fast the water is flowing, drawing patterns noticed or drawing things from nature that look similar, and participating in group work or arts that demonstrate numeracy. Evaluating can be executed by monitoring the students' responses whilst out in nature by asking questions that prompt them to think beyond the box and incorporate everyday occurrences into mathematical thinking. Asking them to draw patterns or go home and bring something from home that they normally wouldn't consider to be maths. Creating a concept map and allowing the students to get involved by writing down what they have learned. This type of mathematics can also be integrated into a visual arts lesson with the following curriculum outcomes. Explore ideas, experiences, observations, and imagination to create visual artworks, design including considering artworks by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Use and experiment with different materials, techniques, technology, and processes. Create and display artworks to communicate ideas to an audience. Respond to visual artworks and consider where and why people make visual artworks, starting with visual artworks from Australia, including visual artworks of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. This can be done by going onto country to source fallen plant, seed, or matter for making art in pattern or sequences, sitting on land and drawing a painting in groups, experimenting with different materials to make artwork, bringing in traditional Tiwi people to do arts with or going with them onto country, have a pop-up art gallery at school or in the community, read and view other art at the local museum and respond to questions in group discussions. Evaluating art is different to other topics as visual arts is as personal and individual. Again, observing students through the process and having group discussions as to why they made what they did and how this includes numeracy can be an informal way of assessing the criteria. I want to thank you for listening to this presentation, and I'll leave you with this beautiful song that brings the kids back to the Tiwi Islands after they go off and study.
All the way from Pularumpi to the jungles of Pularumpi, you can find us driving back from Rangoon. Yura to Wati, Kapinga Tangarima, Nirawangan King Ramani, Miramani Pangara, Yinigula. Naranguri, Tangarima.